All right, welcome back to episode 3 of the 1936 Ford Rebuild series. This week, just kind of a short video. I didn't get a whole lot done the last couple of weeks because I was tied up on that Dodge Raider project, the engine rebuild. But I did do a little bit of work. Ended up spending some time on the floorboards, cutting and sizing kind of a aftermarket generic floorboard application for this car, and welded the passenger side in. And then before I welded the driver's side in, I spent some time repairing the brake booster, checking the seals, cleaning it up, and installing that because it resides under the floorboard, right where the driver's feet are. And before I welded that patch panel in, or that floorboard, I wanted to install the brakes because it's a little easier to do it from the top than underneath the car. What I'm doing is just putting in a few body bolts before I weld this plate in, just to secure it, and also because this bolt is going to be a little bit hidden by this plate. So I'm just picking away at it right here. Fixing to weld this plate right here. Gonna match the lines of I'm working on this brake booster and master cylinder. I'm going to clean it up, paint it, check the seals, and install it before I weld in the floor pan here. It'll be easier just to get the whole thing installed. There is a plate, an inspection plate that comes off, but it's kind of small, and I'd rather just put it in, weld in the plate. That'll save me a little bit of a headache. However, I can't find the nuts that I took off of here. It's been 5 years now. And it almost looks to me like the previous guy that put this on cross-threaded the nuts. It looks like he probably used a metric nut on a standard or vice versa, because they look a bit wonky, and I can't find any nuts that fit. So I'm going through my dies here, and I'm going to try to find one that fits kind of and clean up the threads, and that'll tell me what nut to look for. Hey, we're just working on this brake booster here. I busted out the tap and die set. I figured out what the thread count and the size of this is, and it's a metric M8 by 1.25. At least that's as close as I can get it. And so I'm cleaning out the threads. I think the previous owner put a nut on here that stripped them a little bit, because you can see some of them are kind of gnarly. But this is cleaning it up really nice. And then I bought a new set of nuts with the serrations on one side to keep them from backing off, and they fit on there really nice. So we'll clean this up. I'm going to double check the seals in the master cylinder, and then we're going to bolt it to the frame. All right, threads are beautiful now. And the nut goes on real nice. Great way to clean up threads that are stripped or banged up or even corroded. Just to run a die over them. I just took off the lid. There wasn't much brake fluid in here. I don't know if it leaked out or if we were running it low the last time we were driving it, but it's kind of gunked up a bit. So I'm going to have to clean this out pretty good. It's got rust or some kind of debris floating around in there. So I'm going to take it apart now and see if we can't look at the seals. You can see here this rubber piece that seals the brakes is kind of in bad shape, so I'm going to buy a new one. They sell these down at the hardware store. And helps with that seal around the edge. It doesn't look to me like this is leaking. This side, I've got some rust going on. Probably just from driving in the rain, but I don't know. We'll see. I do have some rust in here. We're disassembling this master cylinder, but I'm a little bit perplexed. I gotta get this retaining ring out of here, and it's not a big deal usually. You just push this down, push the piston down, and you pull the ring out. Usually the ring has two little holes or two little spots that you can put your pliers on and crimp them out, or press it and it pulls out. But this doesn't have them, and so I'm gonna have to pull out my manual and do a little bit of studying before I scar it up too bad. Went into the other room and pulled out some of my old manuals. This one's from my cousin Ronnie. He gave me a bunch of manuals recently, and these are some classics. But like I say, this shows right here that it requires the needle nose pliers to grab the indents for the ring, and this doesn't have those. So I'm gonna have to pull out some more manuals to figure it out. And you can see what we're trying to get to is to take a look at these rubber rings on the pistons, and we're gonna hone out the center of it, the shaft, so that it's smooth again. Okay, I got this disassembled. Took out the pistons, cleaned everything up. I scoured it with gasoline and brake parts cleaner, and it cleaned up real nice. The bore is pretty good. I'd say it's about 98%. There's a couple of small pits at the very end out here, but they're probably not enough to make a difference. And then the pistons, the rubber's pretty good. However, I might as well just order these rubber pieces. This end one is a little bit worn. So they're the 1 1/8" GM sized rubber cups. And so I'll go down to the auto parts store tomorrow and see if I can get 5 of them and replace all these. Some of them are kind of a bear. These are kind of a bear to replace. The inner ones are easy. These you have to stretch over the end piston and without tearing it. Alright, master cylinder and brake booster go under the floorboard, right under the driver's seat. And so I wanted to install this before I welded in this patch panel here, just because it's slightly easier to deal with when it's open. Okay. Wow. Alright, we have the brake booster master cylinder installed. Next we're going to work on welding in this patch panel, this floorboard here. Going to have to do a little bit of grinding on it and clean up some of the edges, and then we'll weld that bad boy in.
progress, man. We got closer and closer.
Yeah. So the next thing we'll do, we'll put that in at some point soon. And then we'll
Little piece welded in.
get. Hey. Sup, homie? Alright, well there you have it. One more episode in the books. Made a little bit of progress this week. I should say this last few months. Making progress with this floorboard. We got the rear end put in. We had the idea of knocking this roof out. There's a wooden ribs with a wooden plywood roof in these cars that you canvas over. Originally it was chicken wire with a bunch of stuffing and then a canvas top, but we're going to get a sliding ragtop roof kit that you screw rails in the sides and it slides back, kind of like the old Volkswagen Bug sliding roof. So we'll attack that right before we paint the car. But it's going to come together fairly quick because we have all the parts. It's just a matter of elbow grease and sanding and painting and reassembling the motor and putting everything back together. So, pretty fun project. Anyway, check back for the next episode and we'll make some more progress. Bye.